first ever episode of Shade the Line. I'm your host, Austin Grad, and today we'll be talking about a great start to the 2017 tennis season and a memorable Australian Open. We'll also talk about the big change in the ATP rankings and some up-and-coming players to watch for in this 2017 season. So let's dive right into the Aussie Open, where four aging all-time greats made it to the championship weekend. We'll start with the men's singles. Andy Murray finally dethroned Novak Djokovic as the number one player in the world, but both of their tournaments were short-lived as Djokovic got knocked out by Denis Istomin in the second round, and Murray let Mishka Zverev best him in the fourth round, which left the door open to guys like Milos Raonic and Stan Wawrinka to come in and swoop up a major title that has been dominated by Novak and Andy for the last few years. But they weren't able to capitalize either, which ultimately opened the door for Roger Federer and Rafael Nadal. 35-year-old Federer, who was going for win number 5 in the Australian Open, looked like he regained total control of the court, placing the ball right where he wanted while displaying a consistent backhand throughout, while Nadal showed consistent forehand power, proving 30 is just a number. In their championship match, number 17 Roger Federer proved that defense wins championships, as he forced Nadal to 38 total errors. But Rafael was able to limp into the fifth set, where anything can happen. But ultimately, a 27-shot point in this set would prove the difference in the match, as Federer would win that point, and he ultimately would come out on top, winning his 5th career Aussie Open in the men's finals, as he beats number 9 ranked Rafael Nadal 3-2. And now to the women's singles, where Angelique Kerber held the number 1 world ranking going into this Grand Slam event. But number 2 Serena Williams was looking to regain power and prove she still deserved to be number 1. While I expected easy sailing for Serena to get into the championship, few believed her sister Venus would be able to, myself included. But she was able to turn back the clock, as she showed great endurance and willpower, which is what she's been lacking the last few years after coming out with an illness that prevents her from keeping endurance and strength throughout the match. But Venus was able to get to the championship match, which set up a date with her and her sister Serena. In my head, I was thinking this could be the last time I see the Williams sisters square off in a Grand Slam final, due to Venus being on her last leg and Serena aging as well. And how fitting it was that Serena was going for her 23rd Grand Slam title, which would be the second most all-time by any tennis player, only trailing Margaret Court's 24. So let's dive right into what happened in the sisters' Australian Open Championship match. Venus got off to a quick start and was looking to go up 3-1 on her serve, but Serena managed to erase a 40-love deficit to win the game, which shot Venus's confidence, and that also proved to be a key point in the match. And from there, it was all Serena, as she dominated the rest of the way en route to her 23rd Grand Slam title, passing Steffi Graf for second all-time. As for Venus, she was unable to capture her first Aussie Open win, and this may be the last time we see her in a Grand Slam final match. Now we'll discuss the ATP rankings and how the Australian Open affected the movement of these players. We'll start with the men's, where Roger Federer moved up 8 spots after winning the Aussie Open to go all the way up to number 9 after being at 17. Nadal also moved up to number 6, 3 spots ahead of where he was. And then a few players that moved down, including Kai Nishikori, who got slammed in the first round by the 123rd ranked player in the world. That brought him down to number 8. And then also another player that got moved down was Milos Raonic, who also lost in the second round, and he moved all the way down to number 6 from number 3. Over to the women's side, where Serena Williams regained her number 1 spot after winning the Australian Open. Venus moved all the way up to number 6 after being currently at number 9. And then Coco Vandeweghe, after defeating Angelique Kerber in the 4th round, moved from 31 to 19. And speaking of the world rankings, I'm going to tell you my top men and women up-and-coming players to watch in this 2017 season. For the women's, I'm going to look at Samantha Crawford, a 21-year-old from Atlanta, Georgia, who has extremely hard serve and great defensive ability. And on the men's side, I'd like to look at Francis Tiafoe. He's 18 years old. He has great agility, and he kind of reminds me of Joe Wilfried Tsonga in his body structure. And these are some players I'd like to see stay in the top 100 this year and keep moving up the ranks. And with that, I want to thank you for tuning in to Shade the Line in its first edition. I'm Austin Grad, signing out.